Hello world, hello Australia. It's Jamie here, the crypto koala. Now today, guys, I've got Zhe Tang. He's the overseas operations manager of Conflux. Z, it's great to have you on the day, mate.
It's a pleasure to be here, Jamie. Thank you so much for having us.
I do apologise in advance, guys. Z is calling from China, and the connection's not all that good. So if it does drop out a little bit, I do apologise in advance. But we'll crack on with the interview, hey? So Z, tell us a bit about yourself, mate, and why are you guys based in China?
Yeah, so I've been crypto since the winter of 2015, started from mining Bitcoins and eventually got into the ICO buzz, and here I am. And how I got into why Conflux is based in Beijing is because, the creator of Conflux, one of the creators is Andrew Yao, which is a Turing Award winner. And he and his several of his students created a research paper, students from Tsinghua University, and they're all based in Beijing, and they decided to, grow the project from Beijing because, that's really the foundation of the company, and that's where, the mainly the investors live as well.
Ah, great stuff. So how come you guys, is China a favorite place for you guys to develop? Like, how come you guys are developing in China in particular?
For several reasons. One, the crypto climate in China is extremely warm right now, and arguably it does get the most anticipation in compared to the rest of the world. And secondly, the developer community in China is also, very eager to onboard new blockchain platforms, layer ones, and number three, there's a lot of investors that are eager to participate in the Chinese blockchain space.
It seems like the blockchain side of things in China, like they're really embracing a lot of technology developments over there, and even with the projects like Baidu, basically the equivalent of Google over there, the search engine, they're going into the blockchain space, which is really positive. Hey.
Yeah. Baidu is actually one of our investors, and
Oh wow.
we do work on a deeper level where we actually use the Baidu's cloud which is like Amazon cloud to do part of our testnet runs, and with Baidu wanting to get into the blockchain space, we do want to be like their bridge into getting to DeFi and to onboard some of the traditional enterprises onto the blockchain as well.
Yeah, awesome, man. I mean, China's massive in the crypto space. It's a really interesting thing that came out from the State Bank of China. It was like an infographic. I don't know if you saw it, but it's showing a kind of a bit of a negative light on crypto, just particularly Bitcoin, just of Bitcoin. But it does go to show, like, they're starting to take notice of it over in China, and I think with the State Bank of China, they might be trying to, in the future, consider it as an on-ramp, and maybe they're trying to tap into that, so where, they can get some fees from that mass amount of people in China that want to get involved in crypto. Because basically, you know how it is in China with loads of people setting up a VPN, and, they want to get into Bitcoin, or they're basically at the moment using it for Facebook. So it's sort of all it needs is for them to switch over and to start, that's all it needs to get into Bitcoin. It's just for them to access to VPNs that they use over there. So do you agree with that there, Rizzy?
Yeah, although I can't speak on behalf of the state bank, but the Chinese government is kind of in between complete regulation and control over cryptocurrencies, and letting everything go completely free as well. Despite the fact that the central government did label Bitcoin as, or like crypto ICOs as illegal. Xi Jinping, the highest government body in China, it did also, publicly speak out about wanting to support blockchain development, from a high level approach. And we do see a lot of more and more government supported blockchain projects, namely enterprise chains to be developed in China as well. So I do have a very optimistic view on Chinese blockchain development. With state giving more support for certain approaches of how to use the blockchain technology and how to leverage it to empower economic growth and social development in China.
Sure. So I guess of your project, and what it mainly is that you're looking at delivering a high efficiency blockchain. So how are you looking at achieving this?
Yeah. So in a single sentence, Conflux is a fast and scalable DAG-based Nakamoto consensus protocol to enable higher throughput and higher confirmations. And we want to build something that where the throughput is no longer limited by the consensus protocol, by processing the capacity of each node.
Great stuff. So you guys inherited the central idea of Bitcoin with its proof of work consensus. So Conflux, just reading through your white paper, Conflux is unique graphical model-based protocol, the tree graph. What makes this so special?
Everybody has heard of the scalability trilemma, right? Where it's the impossible triangle that's where the scalability on top, where the decentralization safety, and that's and that concept is, that theory is by stating that no public blockchain can achieve all three. And from a fundamental level, due to our strong computer science background from Tsinghua University, MIT academia field, Turing Award winner, we want to absolutely maximize the efficiency of blockchain to its physical limitations, while not sacrificing safety or scale or decentralization. And that kind of goes back to the Nakamoto consensus, because POW is by far the most safe and most decentralized consensus protocol there is.
So I guess keeping that in mind, as a scaling solution, you've got forks of Bitcoin like Bitcoin Cash that have gone for increasing the block size, and you've got, with the Lightning Network with their second layer solution for a scaling solution. So from a scaling perspective with Conflux, if it goes under load, how can you keep up with your high TPS?
Well, right now we are by far the fastest POW public chain in the entire world. So what we did, we actually did a recent test where we evaluated the Conflux on Amazon's EC2 cluster with up to 20,000 full nodes, and where throughput is equivalent to 6,400 transactions per second for typical Bitcoin transactions. And we experienced similar throughput for smart contract transactions as well. Essentially, what we did is we put 7 months of Ethereum transactions onto our testnet, and we processed everything in under 25 minutes, with the average confirmation between 17 to 25 seconds.
That's great stuff that you've actually gone for that testing. So I'm imagining this when your mainnet is launched and you've got dApps on your mainnet. I'm assuming that you're not going to have a CryptoKitties event.
Well, that's one of the biggest issues with Ethereum is it's UX, the fact that the fees are too high, the transactions are too low, and with other public chains as well, which we can get into as well.
Sure. Other chains as well, public blockchains. I'll just look at Tron or EOS, and I see that they accommodate the sort of dApps that are like gambling, and you're sort of the gaming dApps. I'm not saying that they're inferior, but when you look at Ethereum, they seem to be starting to move into the financial application space, so the real complex stuff. Whereas the more sort of the investor sort of level, enterprise level. So where do you see as Conflux's primary market? Which way are you going? Are you going in the sort of Ethereum sort of direction, or the Tron or EOS, or you're sort of doing a bit of both?
like our target market is mainly like it's both like to B and to C. For to B, we're looking at existing, enterprises that wants to have like that wants safety and security, and that's why they are centralized in the first place, right? Because centralization is their own guarantee of like safety, right? But and that's primarily why they don't go into EOS or Tron, because these like semi-centralized public chains are never as secure as something as fast as Ethereum, as something as safe as Ethereum. But Ethereum, it's high fee, it's long confirmation time, and low throughput is what really restricts a lot of these enterprises to get into Ethereum in the first place. Yeah, and for 2C, and we're looking at to like to board developers as well, because the developers themselves, they do not only want to see another CryptoKitties again, but they also want prefer to have better UX in general. They don't want to wait 10 minutes for a transaction to go through. They rather wait 15 seconds. They also don't want to pay enormous fee for each transaction as well, where we have what essentially like 1/100th of what the fee that Ethereum would charge on an average transaction.
Sure, man. I just want to talk about some of the use cases of the Conflux blockchain in the real world. So just thinking of some of the, applications, or say some of the industries that it could tap into. So, and I could start off with one, you've got the financial, which you've talked about with Ethereum, which is like the financial transaction side of things. So would you be able to just go over some of the use cases potentially that Conflux blockchain could address in the big world?
Yeah. So essentially, the bottom line is the big companies do not trust, these platforms like the newer blockchains like EOS or Tron, but they also can rely on go all in on Ethereum as well, because of like the issues that I mentioned earlier, the high fees, the long confirmation time, and the low throughput. Right now we see on Ethereum, we see the like the best case for that to like prove what I'm saying is like all the stable coins are on Ethereum, right? We're talking like DAO, we're talking about USDT, we're talking about essentially all the stable coins. And right now Ethereum is like a cluster of like dApps, right? And right now it's mainly used for I wouldn't say mainly used, but its main DeFi application is collateral and borrow. And because of its limitations, it's only limited to that. And for Conflux, we do envision a future of where we're going to credit and borrow, right? And these areas are where Conflux will get picked up, I believe. Because following DeFi, because it will be more fruitful, better UX, where we believe that we will transmit the blockchain stream into reality with supporting daily payment, small amount remittance. Yeah.
So you sort of got an idea of what you're looking to attract, like developers wise, dApps to your space. So you kind of know what you're aiming at.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, our two big target market are to be the enterprises and to see the developers as well.
Okay, mate. So Conflux, you're currently in your testnet stage at the moment, which is currently you're looking at going and releasing your mainnet in the future. So when your mainnet is fully launched, what you're looking to achieve with that?
Well, our mainnet is expected to be launched at Q1 2020. We're already in talk with several major enterprises who are looking to get into DeFi and who are looking to adopt blockchain into their for example, like supply chain optimization, etc., to optimize their operations. Although I can't disclose any names right now, but I could tell you that the guys that we're talking to are very closely tied with some of our investors.
Brilliant. So you feel confident you've got some dApps ready to go onto your mainnet once it's launched?
Yeah, we're in talks with several like enterprises and dev teams right now.
Brilliant. So, see, I just want to ask you about, the incentive for the block producers, the actual miners. So, what is the main incentive to mine the token? Now, being proof of work, have you got built-in inflation? So you look at Bitcoin and Litecoin, where they have block reward halving over time. So is that something you guys have got? Have you got a similar mechanism there, like that sort of incentivizes the miners and the block producers?
Yeah, we do have block reward mechanisms in play right now. You can definitely find out more on our official website, which we'll provide later. But in terms of what we thought was very interesting from mining on Conflux is despite the fact that our tokens value is absolutely zero on our testnet because it resets every time the testnet relaunches, we still got over 1,000 different 1,000 different nodes from different addresses, IP addresses that are mining on Conflux main testnet right now. Which they're doing it for absolutely no like intrinsic motivations. They're just doing it because they wanted to find out more about mining on Conflux. They wanted to get in when the mainnet launches, and they want to really like to physically test the token reward mechanism of Conflux blockchain.
So they're sort of believing the token, they're mining on a promise that you guys will deliver in effect.
Yeah, yeah.
Great stuff. So back in, you basically started your project in Q1 2018, if I've got that right, and from then you've been building your testnet platform and building it up from there. So how have you managed to fund your project? Do you feel like you got your mainnet launched, which you said is Q1 next year, so that's about 6-7 months away? So do you find that you've got enough funds that you've raised back in Q1 2018 that's going to carry you on to the mainnet and beyond?
Raised 35 million from guys like Baidu, IMO Ventures, Metastable, Fundamental Labs, and we were mainly after major traditional VC firms rather than crypto funds. And the reason is because we do want collaborations with these like major enterprises that are behind these VC firms. But as for funding, we believe that we have raised enough funding to carry this project forward and to get get it well established in the next 5 years. So we're not looking to launch an IEO or ICO or any other fundraising, but we're thinking of doing we are launching a IBO, initial bounty offering, which is we're giving away tokens essentially. And our IBO is different from other bounty programs mainly like two ways, right? One is its flexibility. So anybody could go into our bounty program and register a task. They can create their own task, and they could get the community to collaborate and work on that task. And it will be extremely flexible, extremely open-ended. That allows more community-based approach to the bounty program and bounty hunting. And two is the reward is going to be on in FC, which it's called fans tokens, which is a smart contract similar to ERC20 token, but it's going to be based on our testnet. And when after the Conflux mainnet comes live, you can redeem it to mainnet tokens through the smart contract as well. And and that's essentially the FC is the only way you can participation of the bounty program is the only way you can get FC before the mainnet launches.
Okay, awesome, man. So I noticed on Twitter earlier on that you partnered with TX. So what does that guys do for you, like partnership wise? What does that do for Conflux?
Yeah, so TX is they aim at a privacy reserve layer 2 solution, right? And combining their aim of privacy with our novel layer 1 systems, the partnership wants to build like a more confidential, secure, scalable infrastructure for current blockchains and further promote the adoption of blockchain in the real world by trusted Oracle. Yeah, allowing enterprises and devs to have a facilitate an easier transaction.
Sure, and I
The
understand.
transition.
I can understand that privacy is a really important element, especially when you're looking at tapping into that financial application space, especially like institutions and banks. You know, if they want to utilize blockchain, they want it private. So it's kind of good that you've got that tapping into that sort of area. So what's basically the next 24 months look like after the mainnet? What's your main goals over in Conflux?
So right now, what we're trying to do is like what I was hired to do from Toronto is I was trying to build the developer community of Hong developer incentive programs specifically for developers. And aside from that, we're also gonna do have multiple different approaches to a lot of traditional enterprise users who are looking to adopt into the DeFi field as well.
Great stuff. See, well, what I do, I'll put the links down below if you want to check out Conflux. I don't think the information's up yet for your bounty program. Is it, Z?
It is. It
It
was just
is.
launched today.
Well, guys, that's magic. So I'll put down their information if you want to get involved their bounty. Z's on Twitter as well. So if you want to give him a follow or if you want to check him out, I'll put down links down below for him as well. So I'll give a disclaimer. I give a disclaimer in all my videos. You know, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not telling you to go and get involved in this project. I'm just providing a platform in which, you know, projects can come and share on. So yeah, do your own due diligence and your own research, guys. So Z, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, mate, and you have a wonderful day.
It was a pleasure talking to you as well, Jamie. You have a great day as well.
Yeah, see you later, mate. Bye.
Bye bye.